a Muslim with a woo-woo Christian in a biracial marriage. They are gym owners with tips on wellness, mindset, creating inner peace, and happiness despite differences. You're listening to the Clem and Alfred Unequally Yoked podcast. Hey, welcome back to the Clem and Alfred Unequally Yoked podcast. If you're watching, then you're not on podcast, you're on video, probably on YouTube.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about motivation. We have an upcoming 30-day challenge. It's called the 30-day Get Motivated Challenge. So we want to kind of give you an idea before we start doing the challenge of what motivation is, where does it come from. There are negative motivation and is also positive motivation, and what the difference is and how it affects us differently as we go towards our goals and our aspirations. So we have some great stories to share today with you, but
and
before we do,
I still don't know if mines are positive motivators or if I'm motivated by something negative, but I have two really good stories.
Well, that's a good point, because it can start off negative, but we're going to show you today how to flip them into a positive. That way you have lasting results, because we do find that people say this a lot: I get motivated and then I fall off, or then my motivation goes away. How do you stay motivated? That's one of the biggest questions. And then how do you get motivated? That's one of the big questions. Or some people just give up altogether and say, I'm just not motivated. So sometimes it can start off with a negative motivation, but you have to learn how to flip that around for yourself. And that's what we're gonna talk about today after these messages. All right, we're back. Alfred, tell me about bodybuilding and what motivated you to start with that, or lifting weights.
All right, so when I was a young kid, I would say somewhere between 7 and 8 years old, there was this fantastic gentleman named Jack LaLanne. And I would
old school.
I would pick up the bodybuilding magazines, and then when you get to the end, he would have his workouts. And what had got me started is I would see the magazine, I would see the big strong guy, and I wasn't the big strong guy, but I wanted to be the big strong guy.
Jack LaLanne pulled boats with his teeth.
Jack LaLanne at the end, well, see, we couldn't see those because there was no YouTube.
Oh, right.
And he didn't have a special TV program, so I never even knew that until later on, that he did pull boats and cars and trains with his mouth. But I did see was his articles in the back, and I would order them and do his workouts and try to put on the muscles, wanted the muscles. And then I think that is what had got me started.
So that's more of an inspiration. You were inspired. But was there a trigger of any sort? Was there a thought that I'm not strong, or I'm not
So for the longest, I thought, okay, now I'm on Jack's program. I got these little biceps and my chest is coming out. And then in the 8th grade, I would go to the high school to work out. And I put the bar, it's all set up, and I put 5 pounds on each side, and I did it 10 times. So that is 55 pounds. So I did it 10 times. Put it back, and I was so happy. And then a friend who's a very close friend of mine now, him along with another guy, they laughed. And I was like, what are you guys laughing at? I'm gonna be up here next year playing football with you. And then they really started laughing. They go, there's no way you're gonna ever be able to play football because you're too skinny. And then I think that was the trigger that triggered me into probably where I am now at the age of 48, where I just
have to do it. Like have
to lift.
Right.
And I didn't realize it till we had a conversation a couple days ago, and I'm thinking like, okay, so why do I
have to be a pro
bodybuilding?
with a pro card and win the world championship?
Why is it a goal of mine to be a world champion? Yes.
Yeah. What motivated that?
What was it?
What motivated? And then he remembered a time in childhood, because a lot of the things that we do now as 40 and 50-year-olds are actual triggered from childhood. Actually, we are acting from our 9-year-old self or 12-year-old self or 5-year-old self half the time. We're acting from those time periods, and we're bringing them into this period. We don't even know, because it becomes a part of our reaction, our physical reaction too. So it's not just mental. You're making these decisions unknowing that you're making them as a child.
Something.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I guess deep down inside, I think I had a feeling. No, I know. I had a feeling that the reason why I was lifting wasn't right.
Oh, you had a feeling. Like it was in your heart.
And I think that's why I really do not like posting pictures of myself, like lifting or before and after pictures. You'll notice I had the same pictures been up there for like 5 months.
Yeah.
Some people I know people put 3 new pictures every day. Because
and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, but I think that I'm thinking, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, is that I don't want other people to know that is an insecurity of mine. So I'm not going to keep putting, because I know that that's kind of somewhat of a sign if you see people keep seeking approval through social media by putting the pictures up.
Yeah.
I'm not seeking approval from anyone but myself.
Well, now, because you flipped it, but it was originally needing to prove that you are strong, you can play football, that you can lift, that you're not skinny. That was the original 12-year-old who needed to prove to not just them, but also to yourself that you can do this, that you are not skinny, that you are not weak. So that was original. And then you can when you flip it spiritually. So we have, in the Bible, it talks about from the treasures of your heart springs the issues of life. So whatever is in your heart is going to spring out into life. So when you go back into your heart and really heal that part, then and bring Christ consciousness, higher frequency vibration, healing to that part of your youth, then that's why a lot of us do child work or inner child work. We heal those parts of ourselves, and then now we can bring into our new life. You can keep working out but it's now at a higher vibration, a higher energy, a higher meaning, as opposed to doing it for approval or doing it because of the insecurity of not feeling big enough, good enough, strong enough, or whatever, or not accepted by the football players that were on the team before you. So now it's at a different, higher vibration of I am good enough, I am already created perfect and great, and I have all this beautiful potential in this physical body. So then it's from the issues of your heart springs the manifestation of your life, and then it flips to, and if you find that there was a negative in the beginning that triggered your working out, then you flip it to, in the Bible it also talks about do work unto the Lord instead of working for man. And that is when you flip it to the higher frequency vibration of energy, and that just gives me chills in itself. Like I got chills right down my body just saying it. Like work unto the Lord, and even work in secret. So I've been thinking about now when I prep for 2020, if I want to.
Did you hear that?
I am going to prep for 2020.
There's a big announcement.
I just don't know how, because I used to in the past. I used to post more frequently, and I would tell myself it's to inspire And it is to help others, which I did. I helped a lot of people get on stage for the first time who never even thought about it, who wasn't even a dream. I helped a lot of people even come to the gym and work out. So there was good.
That's the hard part, because when we do make the post, I would like to say we inspire others, because we always get new clients.
We sure
After we post, we get 2, 3, 4.
Or I get private messages. I've been overweight for so many years. I'm 60 pounds, and how do I even start? So I even answer those questions. People send me private. So it's always that, like, you know, two-edged sword. Do I post? Do I not post? And so it comes down to this, and this is also in the Bible, is God judges the intentions of our heart. So I had to think about, like, what is my intention? For one, why do I want to compete and prepare for 2020? Is it to seek approval, to seek fitting in? Is it to seek, you know, worthiness and acceptance, belonging? Or do I want to compete because I love my body and it was fun to be on stage, and it's just a great way for me to have goals and to set targets and to be disciplined, and because I love the feeling of discipline and regularity, and, you know, so I have to really check. And so if it is in that negative motivation, I'll sit down and I'll do prayer and meditation until I've put the higher vibration frequency into that healing, and then I'll decide to go and do it, and just sit down for a while. It's okay to sit down and be quiet. It is okay. It does not make you a lesser, weaker person to sit down, sit your ass down and be quiet.
When it was negatively motivated to get bigger, faster, and stronger, I did some very extreme, unethical things to improve my physique, which I would never do now.
Right. That's at 18 years old.
Because I'm acting I'm from a different vibration. It's more than a fear of.
Yes.
I don't want to be. I'm a man, but I don't want to be seen as a weak man.
Right.
Or a lesser man.
Fear of not being accepted by the manly men.
How is coach gonna see me if I'm only a $145 trying to play football? Right. Is he gonna just put me to the side, tell me to carry the water, or do I need some size to?
I think it's good to have that trigger in our life. And then the spiritual walk that we go through is, now that we're woke or aware, how can you turn it for your good? So now that you're using it for good instead of using it for, and the reasons why you don't want to stay in the lower vibration energy of negativity is that then you start putting yourself down, and then that's more negative. And then you start comparing yourself, and then that creates more negativity. And then you start looking at other people and being jealous and wanting what they have, and that creates more. And so the negativity just keeps piling up, and eventually you are depressed. Eventually you are doing things you shouldn't be doing, like taking steroids. Eventually you're being mean to people and not speaking nicely because you're jealous of them.
At that point, your motivation has
taken you down. It was a good trigger to help you get started, but then when you stay in that lower vibration, it just changes the energetic or the aura around you, and then you can go into depression, anxiety, comparison, jealousy, all the things you don't want in life, because it creates more of, and then you actually may revert back.
Is this why they put so much weight on the why? Your why, your why
this
should be
so important.
In order for you to be true motivation comes from a solid why.
True motivation, like lasting positive motivation, comes from a solid understanding and belief of who you are as being already perfect as you are, and your love for yourself just wants more of it, wants more of you, wants more of your higher self. So the pure why is, I love me, and I already believe I'm capable and amazing, and I'm just doing these things acting as though I am capable and amazing. So you're now acting from the motivation of, I'm doing this because I am. I am because I am. Those are two powerful words. I am put together. So you're acting from the I am instead of acting from I have to get to be this person so that I can have this and that. So my motivation.
That almost even sounds selfish. I have to because it's yeah.
Well, it's self-centered because of the low self-esteem. Yeah. So I started working out because when I was young, my nickname was Tabachoy, and from my parents and my aunts and uncles. That was my nickname, and in Filipino that means fatty, chubby. So that was my motivation to get started. And over time, I did for a long period. I'm 43 now. For a long period, it was like I have to check myself on a regular. Why did I make that post? Why did I go to the gym today? If I cannot get in that place of peace and joy and happiness, high vibration, confidence that I am, the light. I am the piece of the light, the great light, and I'm just being the light. Then I'll sit my butt down and don't go. At this age in my evolution of spirituality, really have to be in tune with the intentions of the heart, because in the Bible it talks about that of God judges the intentions of your heart. Now, are you doing it unto the Lord? And half the time, I don't think in the beginning I was trying to seek approval from my mom, who thought I was fat. When I was 35, I was 105, and I'm like, okay.
And then how many bodybuilding shows have you done? Your mom hasn't been to any.
Yeah, and so you have to let that go and have healing. And so there is another part of motivation is to get truly healed from those childhood wounds, that dimension of life, that past history. And then now you can actually operate from a way different, it's so way more motivating, and it's light. Your body feels light. You don't feel bogged down with all the jealousy and the negativity and the yeah, so that's been such a big change in my life. And what I've noticed too, and we've talked about this in past podcasts, that when you operate from a different place of less stress, less comparison, less anguish, less anxiety, less comparison, then your body reacts totally different. And when I go into preparing for my next show, I'm contemplating, yes, I'll follow a regimen, but I'd be really, really closely in tune to my intuition. Sometimes I'll eat something that most people will say it's a no-no, but my body doesn't react like that anymore. You have another story from
well, that's more of an income story.
Income?
One that, my wife might even know this. So as far as like what really pushed me to want to make some decent amount of money is one day Jamal.
No, I don't know the story.
Okay, so Jamal, I think I just came home from school, and Jamal's like, Alfred, you got to come over. And
Jamal had a
and he said, look, now you know me, I'm not bragging or anything, but I have to show somebody this. This is just, I can't believe it. And he pulled out this paycheck for $10,000. And he said, Alfred, I get to put all of this minus the taxes. It was 7 after the taxes. He said, this all goes into one bank account, into my account, and I can spend it however I want. I had never seen that paycheck like that before.
Like a real legal paycheck.
Yeah, and that's when I was in West Seattle. So that was
we were already here in Washington.
1993. 99, I think. It was,
well, our son
Alfred
was
1.
Okay, so he was, he was born in 1998, so then that would be
It was like 1999.
Wow.
Is when he showed me that, and I was like, what? Is that real?
Yeah.
And then ever since then, I have worked and worked and worked. It took me 2 years, and I said, Jamal, look, I got one.
Yeah.
And he had totally forgot about it. But that had inspired me and pushed me to work. And it took a certain work ethic to get to that point, which carried over Now, again, I haven't really given it a whole lot of thought if that was positive or negative.
It's positive because let's dissect it. Let's dissect it. So
she's better at dissecting it than I am.
Let's then you would. Here's the easy way to dissect something. I learned this from Marie Forleo. If you follow her, I went to her book launch a couple weeks ago at the Seattle Town Hall, and she wrote the book Everything is Figure Outable. She's doing a book tour on it, and my spiritual healer has been trying to get me to be grounded for months. Like, you're not grounded, you live up there in the clouds, you're always trying to escape to heaven. Whenever life here on earth gets hard, you just, zoop, I'm out of here. I do that. So, but I'm like, why do I have to be grounded? I just don't see what the point of being in my body means and why it's so important. Why can't I live in heaven and in the clouds and be amongst my people? And she's like, no, it causes sickness and disease in your body. You have to be grounded. You came here on earth for a purpose. You have to be, and you have to feel this body that you're in. And I never knew that my body was my partner. I saw my body as a suit, a vessel or a vehicle that my spirit lives in, and I could do with it whatever I want. I could change the size, the color, whatever. If I want to change the hair, put on a tan, it's just another outfit to me. So when I went to Marie Forleo, someone asked at the end of the session on mic, she said, how do I know if I'm making a decision out of fear or out of intuition that was the right decision? And she said, you have to, she said, all of the answers you need is in your body. And I was like, what? I think this is what my spiritual healer has been trying to tell me. She said, all of the answers you need is in your body, but you have to be someone who is, you work out regularly, because you have to know what your body feels like, because most of America does not. We're not grounded, we're not in tuned. But so you have to be, work out regularly, know what your body feels like, and sit down quietly and close your eyes, take some deep breaths, and then ask yourself, how does it feel? If you want to make this money, like, you ask yourself, Alfred, why do I want to make $10,000 on a paycheck? Or you ask the question, should I make $10,000 on my paycheck? Should that be my goal? Then if you feel like tension in your shoulders starting to come up, and it's very slight, she said the feeling in your body could be the clues are very slight. Like, all of a sudden your neck and your shoulders start to scrunch over or forward, protecting your heart chakra, then you know that there's something about jealousy or something about that. Or if you feel light and bright and excited and happy, and you can feel butterflies in your stomach, and things like that, like excitement or some kind of tingling.
That's how I felt.
Then then that's a positive, and that's a yes, do that. But if you feel any kind of tightness in your face or your head or your eyebrows or in your shoulders, your neck, for men it's a little bit different. They carry their stress in their lower back, especially when it comes to finance. Lower back fat, lower back stress builds there when it comes to money. So women is hips, and where our reproductive organs are. So you feel it though. But you have to be in tune to your body and ask. But all the answers we need, because our being is a triune. We are mind, body, and spirit. It's all partnered into one. It's not separate. It's not separate. So that's a good one. Why do you want to make all this money? Why? And the answers normally come to you if you're a regular meditator too. The answers just pop into you. It'll tell you, there's some healing that you need to do around jealousy. So before we leave and we finish this, let's talk about social media and posts. Because back in the day, we used to have our clients, and I did too, I'm like, find a picture. Because a lot of times we can't imagine. If you've been living overweight or broke or something that you don't want for 30, 40 years, it's hard to now imagine what does having a nice house, what does having, you know, a nice car, what does it feel like and look like to have money in your bank account, or a strong biceps and being able to have the body that you want. You live with the lower expectancy for so long, you lose the vision for something that you want. So I used to tell my clients, go through magazines, go through Pinterest, find something that looks similar to you, that you believe is at least similar to you, that you can achieve, and that you can start making a visual picture in your third eye, your mind's eye, of what your subconscious needs to be seeing and believing is possible for you. Now, if you can't do that without putting yourself down and saying, oh, I'm so fat, I'm never gonna get to that. Or if you can't look at other people's social media without being inspired, like Alfred was inspired by Jamal's paycheck. He wasn't jealous and sending, oh, I hope something bad happens to Jamal on that paycheck. Then you know that's the wrong vibration. Or, oh, I'm just not
go to
good
Vegas,
enough.
lose it all.
Right. Or like if your mom calls you fat or only gives you praise when you do good, you know, or any attention until you do good, then, you know, you have to sit with it and say, what is my intention? Like, is it I'm jealous of that person when I'm looking at their Instagram? If you're jealous, take that person off, because you don't want to increase any more. I've had to release a lot of people off of my Facebook and hide them for a long time, because not because they were doing it to me, but because that was the aspect that I was choosing to view their posts, and it wasn't healthy for me. And then when you become healthy, go back. See how it feels again.
And that's good, because I can remember talking to Fayaz about my posts, because he sees them and he'll comment, and he'll always leave like a little like prayer.
Oh yeah,
and he prays over my posts that they will be received properly.
That's so nice.
Because he knows I'm challenged with. I don't want people to see it in a way where, oh, this guy's just showing off. Because I was also told that when I first moved here, you know that, I was told by my district manager and general manager that I was arrogant and cocky.
But that's because of his own insecurity. But I used to tell Alfred that all the time too, and I'm thinking, I'm your wife, I know, because I live here. So it must be true.
I'm confident.
Because I know you really well, I live with you. But it was because of my insecurity that I saw it as arrogant and cocky.
I'm just very confident.
But another person could have looked at Alfred and thought, wow, he's so confident and strong and assured, and I want to be like that. And they could have been inspired by it.
Rod Benner saw me that way.
As assured, self-assured.
The other two did not.
Right, and that's their journey. That is their journey.
And we will let them take that journey.
Yeah.
So maybe you'll see a post from me. I will pray over it first with clean intentions of the post.
Put some high frequency vibration on it.
And if you want to chime in and put something down in there, that's fine. The goal is to inspire.
Yeah, and that is really the intention of the heart.
Right.
If it's not that intention, don't do it.